Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Star Flag Media. Today is October the 18th, 2023, and I've been on quite a hiatus since my last stream and my last recording here, my last video that we've made. And I do apologize for that absence. A lot has happened since I've been gone. It's going to be impossible to keep up with all of that news, seeing as just so much happened, so many leaks and information. It looks like everything is locked in for the new Nintendo Switch successor, and many more things to come. Today's episode is going to be concentrating on just what I've been doing, and we have a review for Sonic Superstars, and just kind of letting everyone know what's coming up in the future, and the format that's going to take place while we move forward. So let's get right into a few things. While I was away, the Nintendo Switch 2 leaks started coming out. People have claimed that they have had hands-on time, and more industry insiders have come out to say that the Switch 2 is indeed a thing. And here's my thoughts on everything that I've seen so far. And, of course, you can take this information with a grain of salt until Nintendo actually comes out and, confirms any of this information. Everything that was said is that they were showing off, this Matrix demo, that the Switch looks as powerful, at the very least, as an Xbox Series S, which falls in line with what they've been doing previously as far as being a little behind on generational power, especially knowing that a potential PS5 Pro is on the horizon, and that maybe in a couple of years we're going to get the next Xbox and the next PlayStation. So having them be on par with what this generation has had out for a few years now makes perfect sense. That chipset is cheaper to make now, and they probably have the technology. And if Nvidia is still working on the projects, then they probably are still going to make it, hopefully, a Switch successor where it is a portable as well as the hybrid console. And if it is as powerful as the Series S, at the least, you're going to be seeing a lot of content that previously missed the Switch. Even though we've had what they call impossible ports on the Switch, we're going to see a lot of those games carry over into the Switch successor. So we're going to be getting a lot of ports of maybe older games, a lot like you've seen with like Wolfenstein and Diablo and Doom, that made its way over to Switch a couple of years later, and Red Dead Redemption that just made its way over to Switch. And there's a rumor that Red Dead Redemption 2 is making its way over. So that's exciting news. I'm excited for it. I've always been a big Nintendo fan. It's my preferred gaming machine for all of my, let's say, single player experiences. With that said, the Activision Microsoft deal went through. It is official. Activision Blizzard is now owned by Microsoft. And with that comes their biggest franchise, arguably, that Call of Duty is now signed on to a very minimum 10-year deal with Sony and with Nintendo, where they will come out and it'll have parity as far as content and as far as features. Whether that means that down the line, the Nintendo version or whichever versions are out will not be the same resolution wise, that's totally fine. The experience will be the same across all platforms. And that's the important part here. And anybody that downplays the franchise of Call of Duty, saying, oh, it's not necessary, well, the games that came out on the Wii, 15, 20 years ago, Black Ops and the like, and Modern Warfare, all those games got ported over. All of those sold well over 1 million copies. They all had full online integration, had voice chat, all of that on the Wii, and those sold over 1 million copies. So to say that there's not an audience for those games on a Nintendo platform, it's just a lie. A lot of people have just one platform, and those people probably do want to play Call of Duty, and they just can't because it's not available to them. Now it will be for at least a decade. most of these games are going digital now, and that's something that Nintendo can also be looking forward to as the market starts shifting. Xbox is using Game Pass, and PlayStation is doing their online thing, which brings me to another big story that happened just this week. It looks like Best Buy announced that they will no longer be carrying physical media. No DVDs, no 4K UHD discs, no Blu-rays. That's out. They already stopped carrying CDs back in 2018. So physical media is dying fast, and everybody out here in our community, at the very least, cries about, hey, physical media is king. I'll never let it go. But the reality is, these brick and mortar stores are already not the most popular places to go to anymore, unless you're buying something that you want to physically try first, maybe a phone or a camera. They have appliances at Best Buy. But TVs, things of that nature. But you're not walking in there and buying DVDs anymore. You're just not. And to say that we are, it's just a lie. The numbers show it. You may purchase physical media from Amazon or online stores like that, but walking into a Best Buy, that's just not happening. It looks like Walmart is also on trend to do the same thing. So physical media is coming to an end. The latest rumor that I saw with the Nintendo Switch 2, if that's what we're calling it, is that there's going to be a physical media version and a digital only version, priced at around $450 for the physical version and $400 or $399 for the digital only version. I don't know if those prices match into what Nintendo normally does with their consoles. They're usually around the $300 mark. To see them dip into the $400 space, it doesn't sound that I will say that rumor doesn't really fly with me. I'm thinking $299, $350 will probably be what we see the system launch at. That's my guess, and that's just pulling that right out of the air, judging on what they've done previously, and with inflation and all of that taking into effect. The rumor is it'll launch around September of 2024. And they're going to have a digital version and, like I said, a physical version. So even Nintendo is aware that physical media is in a decline, if that is the case. Now, what that means is they're going to have to come with some sort of online or onboard storage for the Switch too. It can't come with the measly 32 gigabytes. It's just not going to fly in this generation of huge games, right? Everything, even if you go buy a physical game at the store, it still comes with like a 20 gigabyte download code or something of that nature. So, it has to come with at least 500 gigs, right? If it is 500 gigs, then maybe Nintendo will charge that $400 price point. I just don't see anything under 500 gigs being useful as a digital only version of a console. And we'll see what happens with that. And then finally here, this is going to be, one of the quicker episodes that I'm doing. It's just kind of getting back on track. So yeah, before I wrap that up, I've just been away. I've been working. I went to a couple of trips. And, I've been enjoying life a bit. And now I'm trying to get back into the swing of things and hopefully get some more episodes under my belt here on the channel. So, yeah, this brings me to our final thing here from my good friend. His name is Chris Heath. He has a YouTube channel, so go subscribe to him. It is Talents860. So look that up. And, he purchased Sonic Superstars. He's a pretty big Sonic the Hedgehog fan. He's going pretty hard this holiday, as most of us are, right? He's got Sonic Superstars, Mario Wonder, and Spider-Man lined up. That's his big three for the holiday. And so he's picked up Sonic Superstars, and this is his thoughts on it. He sent this over to me today. And it's nice to know because he's been playing through it, and he hasn't finished it yet, but seems to enjoy what it is so far. This is what he wrote. He says, it's fun, it's nostalgic, it plays how it should play from the Genesis era. It's not as fast as Sonic Advance or Sonic Rush, but it is in line with the Genesis era games. They brought back an original designer from Sonic 1 and Sonic CD. and the levels kind of feel like that. All the characters are balanced, but Sonic is by far the best in his opinion because he has his drop dash from Sonic Mania, and that's great for keeping the momentum going. If he has to get a few nitpicks in, he says nitpicks are the loading times. They're not long, but it's like a half a second to continue the game after winning a special stage. And this is on the PlayStation 5. He says he doesn't remember from the older games when you come back that pause in between. Also, he says he lost his bubble shield after beating a special stage. He feels like that should have carried over. There's no reason for him to have lost it. Each Chaos Emerald now gives you powers. For example, the Red Emerald gives you more jumps, but it makes the game feel easier. So he kind of likes, the idea of the game being a little bit more difficult without the Chaos Emeralds. But of course, the whole point is to collect those Chaos Emeralds, right? So he says he could live and play without the emeralds. But it is a kid's game. He has a toddler and his kid, and his stepson also enjoy playing it a lot, especially with those powers. So at the end of the day, he gives this game around an 80 or an 85 total score out of 100. He says it's a solid 2D, solid Sonic game. The physics and all of the game controls feel right. It may not be better than Sonic Mania, but Sonic Mania also plays into that nostalgia that we've all had for the old 16-bit games. So yeah, thanks, Talents. That's his thoughts on the game. Let us know what you think of Sonic Superstars. Have you picked it up? Is it better than Sonic Frontiers? I have a good friend that says it's not. He's enjoying that DLC right now. As always, thank you for joining us here at Star Flag Media. And until next time.